Congress today. He went on to say that we'll see more job losses as well if we don't. To the Republican senator out from Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey. I have to get used to that, Senator. Good to have you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Neil.
What do you make of Tim Geithner's arguments? Do this or pay dearly?
You know what, Neil? If we keep doing business as usual, we're going to pay dearly. We already are. We cannot continue running the massive deficits and piling up the mountains of debt and pretending that this isn't going to catch up to us. It is going to catch up to us. So what I want us to do is to take this moment when we're running up against the debt ceiling limit and say, look, we're not going to raise this unless, as part of the package, we put our federal government on a sustainable fiscal trajectory. I think it's as simple as that, because otherwise we're just perpetuating this problem that's going to become a disaster.
So for you, Senator, it's not that we start the cuts like right before we consider raising the debt limit, but that the process is in motion or targeted?
Well, that we have a very specific game plan that's going to get us to where we need to be.
Yeah, but a game plan is very different than doing it, right?
Oh, well, no, not if it carries the kind of statutory measures. For instance, one of the things, and there are many things that we could implement to get there, but one of the things that I think we need are statutory limits on federal spending and a rule that says very clearly if you go over that limit, then there are automatic mandatory cuts to get us under those limits. We've had these in the past. We've abandoned them, and we've gotten into a real fix. I think we need to bring back those binding spending caps.
So you could seriously think, if we have not done that, and this debt limit issue comes up, well, it's a couple of months from now, 3-4 months from now, not doing it, not raising that limit and risking insolvency.
Well, risking what is it? What would be be risking, Neil? Now, I'm not advocating this.
No, I know what you're saying. The argument against doing so, I'll just spell it out. Let's say we have people buying our Treasury notes and bonds, and we can't make good at that at the time someone wants to cash out.
I don't think that's the case at all. So consider this. If we did not raise the debt ceiling limit and we reached the limit, then 70% of everything that the government would be scheduled to spend comes in and is covered from ongoing tax revenue, right? I mean, it's not as though we would stop collecting tax revenue. The debt service, interest on our debt, is about 6% of everything the federal government has to pay. So we would be taking in enough revenue to cover more than 10 times all the interest that we owe. There's no reason we would have to default on our interest obligations.
But that would be the top priority, because others would argue, no, there are other priorities. You're saying that something would have to be done in that unlikely event, I guess, to channel that money toward paying our debt holders.
Well, that's right. I mean, interest would have to be paid. Now, there are vendors who would have to wait to get paid. There are probably employees of the federal government who would have to wait to get paid. There's lots of dislocations. I am not suggesting that this is a desirable path, but I am suggesting that we have to get serious about getting our budget under control, and this might be the mechanism that allows us to do it.
That's, Russian roulette kind of deal.
It's, there's no need for it to be. I mean, I don't know why we couldn't all agree that we need to take some serious measures to get spending under control, to establish limits on how much we're going to spend. How crazy an idea is that? That we're going to agree on limits that are affordable, live within our means, and that if we exceed those limits, we're going to cut to get back under those limits. I think most Americans think that's how we should approach our budget.
All right, well, that makes too much sense, so you're going nowhere. Senator, seriously, very good seeing you. Thank you. Continued success.
Thanks for having me, Neil.
Pat Toomey. All right, so let me ask you, how's your New Year diet going? You're looking for encouragement? Don't look here. And